The last broadcast. There are stories, and then there are warnings disguised as stories. Some creepypastas are nothing more than internet myths, but others feel too real, too specific. Tonight, we explore the horrifying tale of the last broadcast. But before we begin, if you enjoy these chilling stories, consider subscribing. It might just keep you safe from what's lurking in the static. It started with an old radio station, one that shouldn't have been broadcasting. Noah was a college student, pulling an all-nighter when he stumbled across a strange signal on his old shortwave radio. The frequency was unlisted, the voices distorted. At first, it was just static, but then a voice whispered, "Can you hear me?" Thinking it was a pirate radio station, Noah kept listening. The voice was faint, desperate. It kept repeating the same question, "Can you hear me?" Then, after a long silence, the voice changed, deeper, more sinister, and this time, it said, "I can hear you." Noah laughed it off, until his phone buzzed. A notification from an unknown number. It was a text. "I see you." Noah's stomach dropped. He glanced around his dark room, but nothing seemed out of place. He tried texting back, but no response. Just 3 dots, typing. Then his radio crackled again. This time, it wasn't a voice. It was his own breathing. Noah could hear himself through the radio, as if something was listening on the other end. He shut off the radio and threw his phone across the bed. But then, he heard it again. Not from the speaker. From inside his room, a low, distorted voice whispered, "I found you." The lights flickered, his computer screen glitched, and for a split second, his webcam turned on by itself. On the screen, he saw himself. But behind him, barely visible in the darkness, was a figure. Noah didn't sleep that night. The next morning, he tried searching for the radio station, but it was gone. No records. No pirate stations nearby. It didn't exist. But the texts, they kept coming. Still there. Still listening. And then, the last message. "Look outside." At first, he saw nothing. Just the streetlights and an empty road. But then, the streetlights flickered. And for a brief moment, at the edge of the darkness, he saw a figure. Tall, motionless, staring directly at his window. The same shadow he had seen behind him the night before. Noah deleted his messages. He stopped using the radio. But it didn't matter. Every night, at exactly 3:33 a.m., his phone would buzz. No caller ID. No message. Just a voicemail. A recording of his own voice, breathing. And just before it cut out, a whisper. "Can you hear me?" Noah disappeared 2 weeks later. His apartment was empty, except for his laptop still open to a recording program. The last thing it captured, a deep, static-filled voice, saying, "I can still hear you. If you're still listening, maybe you were meant to hear this story. Maybe it's not just a story." If your phone buzzes tonight at 3:33 a.m., don't answer it. And if you enjoy these stories, be sure to subscribe. Because the more you listen, the more they can hear you. Subscribe before it's too late.